Good afternoon. Welcome into Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. I'm Chris Yao, joined by guest host for the week, Wade Neely.
Good to see you, partner.
Always good to see you. Love the Memphis basketball. It's a good shirt to be wearing today because we have from the Bally Sports pregame show, Michael Wallace will join us to talk a little Grizzlies as they get set to take on the Lake Show in the association playoffs. Looking forward to that conversation. That'll be at 3 o'clock. So stick around for that or come back if you need to. We'll also talk with Dustin Hill, the baseball coach at Giles County High School. Thanks to Wade for setting that up for us, and looking forward to talking to him as they have a huge series coming up next week against Loretto. So talk to him about that almost no-hitter last week and then how that sets them up to take on Loretto next week. Should be a great conversation and looking forward to it. We've got plenty to talk about. College football. I know this is weird because of the time of year, but you know, it is what it is. It's spring football, a lot of spring football. Matter of fact, I think UT's spring game is this weekend. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Big 12, Wade, might be looking to take a few more than just the four corner schools.
You know, when the Big Ten kind of started expanding and everybody kind of thought they might be done for the time being. Kind of interesting how that's playing out, right? Get the feeling when this thing, I don't know when the dust is going to settle, I guess, so to speak, right?
No idea. I guess it'll settle when these media rights deals are done. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Also, SEC quarterback rankings. Where do they sit now that spring practice is ongoing and some folks have completed it? All of that. And of course, baseball. At the end of the show, we'll get into that as well. So plenty to talk about, plenty to get to, gonna do it. But first, we get you to yesterday's results and today's schedule. We do it on the Rundown.
This is the Rundown.
Baseball action from yesterday. Beach 5, Hendersonville 1, Blackman downs Oakland 2-1. It was Davidson Academy 17, Clarksville Northeast just 1. If you scored 1 run yesterday, you probably lost. Independence 11, Columbia Central 5, and Creekwood 7-6 winners over Montgomery Central. Santa Fe falls to Culleoka 14-3. Eagleville down Summertown 2-1. It was Lipscomb Academy 14, Father Ryan 6, Gallatin 22, Hunters Lane 2, Deuces Wild in that one. Green Hill 4-3 winners over Mount Juliet. Hillwood 13-1 against Maplewood. It was East Nashville 8, Martin Luther King 5, Montgomery Bell edging Christ Presbyterian 7-6, McCracken County, Kentucky 3, Rossview 2, Ravenwood 5-0 over Nolansville, and Innsworth downs Pope Prep 3-2. It was Siegel 2, Riverdale 1, Station Camp 13-0 over McGavick, and White House Heritage a 16-4 winner over Sycamore.
Heading over to softball, Oakland a 3-0 win yesterday versus Forest. It was Blackman 15, Laverne 0. Another shutout also when Siegel blanked Coffee County 2-0. 5-1, it was Westmoreland over Smith County. And a light softball schedule yesterday. We had Springfield 12, Portland 2. On to the boys soccer pitch. Siegel blanks Hendersonville 1-0. Barn burner, it looks like, between Loretto and Decatur County Riverside. A lot of goals scored there. 4-3 your final there. Lebanon with a 2-2 draw versus Smyrna. Page gets a 4-2. Nice win for the Patriots versus Spring Hill. Giles County, a game that featured on Pulaski Citizen Live last night. 9-2, a win versus their rivals in Linville. A 2A Bobcat versus single A Raider matchup. Good win for Coach Matthew Ogeron and the Bobcats. College baseball, it was Cumberland taking a pair from Georgetown yesterday, 11-3 and 10-5. Trevecca knocks off Alabama Huntsville 5-3. College softball scores yesterday. MTSU, go Blue Raiders, back in the win column with a 7-3 win versus Austin Peay. And in a tight one, it was Lipscomb 5, Western Kentucky 4. On to MLB action. Braves, another win, 5-4 versus the Reds. The Astros in a game that ended while we were on air yesterday. They win 7-0 versus Pittsburgh. The Cardinals knock off the Rockies 7-4. D-backs over the Brewers 7-3. And it was the Sounds with an 8-6 win versus the Tides last night in MILB action.
Baseball schedule today at 4 o'clock. It's Hillwood at Hillsboro. Antioch hosting Martin Luther King at 4:30. Also at 4:30 is Fairview at Creekwood. Dixon County at home against Waverly. Pope Prep goes to Innsworth, and Clarksville Northwest is at Gallatin. Rossview is at Good Pasture, and Hume Fogg welcomes Hunters Lane. Father Ryan will be at Lipscomb Academy, and Mount Juliet takes on Providence Christian. University School of Nashville hosting Brentwood Academy, and Maplewood at Whites Creek. All of those at 4:30. At 5 o'clock, it's Montgomery Bell at Christ Presbyterian. Also, Santa Fe at Perry County for a twin bill. At 5:30, Loretto is at Richland. And at 6 o'clock, Battleground Academy welcomes Webb School. Stewart County is at Clarksville Northeast. Summit will be at Columbia. Culleoka will be at East Hickman. Ezel Harding welcomes the Tennessee Heat. Giles County will be in Chapel Hill taking on the Rockets of Forest. It'll be Grace Franklin at Franklin. And Franklin Road Academy is at Friendship Christian. Kenwood welcomes Davidson Academy. Mount Pleasant goes to Murfreesboro Central. Blackman in the crosstown rivalry with Oakland. Riverdale, the crosstown rivalry, hosting Siegel. And Watertown is at Westmoreland. Again, those at 6 o'clock.
Other games include Summertown at Columbia Academy at 6:30. Also, Lewis County at Creekwood. Middle Tennessee Christian goes to DCA. Trousdale County will head on up to East Robertson. White House Heritage will visit Greenbrier at 6:30 as well. Harpeth is at Hickman County. Clarksville travels to Montgomery Central. John Overton is at Spring Hill. Dixon County will hit the road. How about this? A rare 6:45 first pitch. You don't see it too often in high school. Dixon County, Lewis County. We also got Fairview versus Lewis County at the same time on our.
Yeah, one of those is probably not right.
one of them's right, one of them's wrong. How about that? And
go to Lewis County and you'll see. Yeah, at 6:45, somebody.
You know, Lewis County's going to be there at 6:45. That's for sure, partner. Joe Burns will travel to White House at 70. Into softball games we go this afternoon. 4 o'clock starts for McGavick at John Overton and Watertown at Station Camp. A 4:30 first pitch for the following: Laverne at Antioch, BGA at Columbia Academy. Nashville Christian at Davidson Academy. East Robertson is at Liberty Creek. Ezel Harding is at Mount Juliet Christian. Tullahoma will hit the road up to Murfreesboro to take on Central Magnet. 5 o'clock first pitches now for Collinwood at Culleoka. Knights Academy is at DCA. Mount Pleasant comes calling here in Pulaski as Giles County hosts the Tigers in a big matchup. Spring Hill versus Independence. Loretto will travel to Lawrence County. Good inter-county matchup there. Columbia visits Nolensville. Westmoreland is at Portland. Summit is at Creekwood. Wayne County and Santa Fe will play a double dip today beginning at 5 p.m. Springfield is at Clarksville Northeast at 5:30. Getting into your later starts tonight at 6 o'clock, Moore County visits Eagleville. Hendersonville travels to Gallatin. Summertown is at Lewis County. And at 6:30, Riverdale at Blackman. Seagoville, how about that? Siegel at Rockvale is what I meant to say there, partner. 6:30 is the start time there. Stewart's Creek travels to Smyrna. And Clarksville Academy is at Good Pasture this evening.
Yeah, time unknown on that one. Boys
TBD.
soccer, boys soccer action this afternoon. Columbia Academy travels to Providence Christian at 4:30. At 5 o'clock, it's DCA welcoming Davidson Academy. Friendship Christian's at Ezo Harding at 5. Also at 5 is USN at Middle Tennessee Christian, and Nashville Christian welcoming Good Pasture. At 5:30, East Robertson will be at Kip Nashville, and at 6 o'clock, Lebanon at Cookeville, Culleoka at East Hickman, Franklin County hosting Zion Christian, Antioch is at Glencliff, Laverne is at John Overton, Macon County welcomes White House, and Clarksville Academy goes to Mount Juliet Christian. At 7 o'clock, first touches, McGavock at Beach, Springfield at Clarksville, Columbia Central hosting Dixon County, Portland's at Greenbrier, Merrill Heights at Station Camp, White House Heritage welcomes Springfield, and Lincoln County is at Lawrence County at 7:30. In my Major League Baseball, it is the Phillies at the Reds. That's a 5:40 first pitch. Man, they had to play last night and they played today too. Didn't even get it. That's rough for Cincinnati. The Pirates are in St. Louis at 6:45, and the Brew Crew down in San Diego for an 8:40 first pitch. If you're headed out to First Horizon Park tonight to see the Nashville Sounds, they will first pitch at 6:35, and they will continue their series against the Tides of Norfolk. And that, my friends, is your rundown. Top story today coming out of the National Football League as the Washington Commanders, $6 billion have been sold. Dan Snyder to Josh Harris's group. Does he still own the 76ers and the Devils? I know he did. I don't know if he still does. I just don't know. But Josh Harris and Magic Johnson, part of the ownership group, who have agreed in principle to purchase the Washington Commanders. That's obviously pending the result of a league-wide vote in which 75% of NFL owners will need to vote in favor for that to be completed. But $6 billion. If you just had $6 billion lying around, the NFL teams is a good way to fix that, huh?
Yeah, just a smooth $6 billion. And a couple things on this. You know, this is one of those deals with Dan Snyder. Until I actually see the ink officially dry on the contract, it's just not going to register in my brain that this guy doesn't own the team anymore. It just feels like we've been talking about him potentially either on his own accord or not being in charge anymore. And now finally, to the tune of $6 billion, it looks like that may happen. And I love this too. The previous record, just said a couple of months ago, or last year rather, $4.65 billion for the Broncos. So take your measly little $4.65 billion and take that on somewhere, they said.
Yeah, and he's making about $2.5 billion profit on this thing.
Crazy.
So he bought it for 3.5 and is now selling for 6. That is insane. Welcome back to our friend Old Geezer. Hasn't been here all week. Figured he was just a Mo fan and didn't care about me, but he is back. So exciting. Is Magic the front man in this? Is he the guy who's going to be out front? I think so. I mean, to me, Magic brings he brings the fun. I mean, he's a guy who can be your PR guy. You have to basically start over because the Washington Commanders have some of the worst season ticket sales in the NFL right now. They've had so much bad PR between changing the name and everything else that went with that. Folks were really upset about it. And it just feels like, this is kind of turning over a new leaf. If it were me, I'd be kind of mad that he went ahead and changed the name and then I had to buy that name. It would have been nice if I could have, as the new owner, picked the name, but I don't know. I mean, I think this is a good move for a guy who obviously has a passion for professional sports. He owns an NBA team and an NHL team, and now he owns an NFL team. So,
Yep, and answer the question as far as Magic. I mean, they're not better front ownership group potentially than Magic Johnson. I mean, he's gonna not really stir the pot too much. One thing he is going to do is he's going to get on Twitter and use a lot of exclamation marks and just really kind of sell the sizzle. And for a franchise that kind of needs to turn the page a little bit, for a variety of reasons, their previous ownership group, it seems like they've got a tremendous kind of new slate. Although I do like your point there. Hey, if I'm going to buy something, I would have liked to have been able to choose my own name at least, right?
I mean, if a name change was going to happen, getting to choose it would have been nice, but I guess it is what it is. What do you feel? How do you feel about the Commanders? I mean,
kind of been like happened Cleveland in MLB. Anytime you've had a franchise with a long-standing name, obviously we understand the reasons for the change, but it's going to take some getting used to. I personally was just a fan of the Washington football team. If for
you're
nothing
a soccer
else,
guy too, though.
I guess maybe that's partially it. If nothing else, it was always fun seeing how our publisher, Scott Stewart, we have an NFL contest that we run every year, and he refused to even put the Washington games in the paper because we had to expand our print portion there just to fit their games in. So he would exclude their games in terms of our picks. But I just enjoyed kind of just having that just oddball kind of name until an owner potentially emerged. I do find it kind of unfortunate that they changed it, and then now you have a new owner, and presumably, obviously, with such a marketing expense that would incur, they're going to stay with the Commanders for the foreseeable future, right?
Oh yeah, it is. It's done now. You're right. I actually like the Guardians, and Commanders makes sense in a number of ways. Obviously, with DC being right there, but certainly would have liked to have seen something more unique and interesting. Red Tails was probably my favorite, but that probably has to do with my Alabama ties.
You don't love Tutty?
I mean, but you could put anything on Tutty. He's a
Yeah.
pig.
He's a pig.
Well, he's a hog.
Yeah, that just doesn't strike a great deal of fanfare or emotion, in my opinion. But again, kind of anytime it feels like we have a name change or a logo change, it's always met with resistance. And in every case, except for Vanderbilt, it's a little bit unwarranted. And the Vanderbilt's maybe potentially still feeling the fire there from their change. But the Commanders, I don't know, just doesn't get me excited, I guess I should say.
You know what? Let's talk about that, because I don't know your opinion on Vanderbilt's logo, but I personally like the new logo, and I like the new Star V if they would use the darn thing. The new Star V is better than the old Star V.
I would. I'm gonna just go with the fact that the internet is on my side, and a few token alumni are on my side, and just say that I like the old school logo. I will say this: I went to a game a couple of weeks ago in the NIT when they took on my Wolverines up there, and I feel like I saw more old Vanderbilt logos in the crowd that day than I saw the new ones. I don't know if that signifies anything, but I saw way more old logos than new.
I mean, and I'm looking at it from an outsider's perspective. I think sometimes the alumni and fans have and they're the ones that you're going after. Don't get me wrong. They have a tie. They have a close hold to certain things. I mean, it just is what it is. That's human nature. But as an outsider who doesn't care about the logo either way, the new logo is better. But only the star V. I don't like the V that they have, if that makes sense. But the new star V with the 5 points actually all having V's, to me, looks better. But again, that's just me. Yeah. Anyway, let's take our first break of the day. Let's see. And we will come back with Dustin Hill of Giles County, who will join us as quickly as we can get him on. And we'll also hand out some hardware. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio in just a moment. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Attention Tennessee homeowners, we want to buy your house. Hi, we are Real Property Solutions, a local real estate investing group. We pay cash for all types of property, so you walk away with more money in your pocket because we eliminate any fees, closing costs, and commissions. Now the best part, we can buy your house as is, meaning you don't have to do a thing to your property. You get to take what you want, leave what you don't, and don't even worry about cleaning. We close on your timeline, whether that's 7 days or 70 days. Interested in selling? Just give us a call and we'll come out to your property and quote you a cash offer within 24 hours. Please call 615-527-8750. That's 615-527-8750.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. My landscapers are outside, so if you hear the weed eater, just ignore it. Have too big of a yard. I can't handle it. But man, what a time it is to be alive with landscapers out. It's nice and springy. Spring is in the air. How exciting. Wade, appreciate you setting this next guest up because we are excited to be on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. Don't forget, if you're headed out to Chapel Hill, go see Renee Hart and the fine folks at From the Heart Cafe. Doing a fantastic job, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, catering. You can order online, all of that and much, much more from the Heart Cafe in Chapel Hill. We are now on the Real Property Solutions hotline with Dustin Hill, Giles County baseball coach, joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Coach, welcome in. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
And we wanted to get you on here because you had a tough one. I mean, about as tough as it gets on Tuesday night. Throw a no-hitter through 7 innings, I guess. And unfortunately, both offenses were facing buzzsaws, and Summertown gets the best of you in a 1-0 loss, but got to be impressed with your guys and with that pitching staff and what they were able to accomplish in that one, despite the loss.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a reason that kid's going to Vanderbilt. He's pretty good. He was 88, 92 all night. Set consistently 88 to 90. I'm really proud of my junior Carter Kelly. He went out there and went pitch for Burleson. He was 85, 86 all night. He ran it up to 88. And he went pitch for with him. And I mean, he's a junior. He's our 2 right now. They didn't throw Burleson, Monday night against Jake, which we were expecting him to throw on Monday night, but they decided, to throw him on Tuesday. So I think that kind of gave, Carter a lot of confidence, saying, hey, I know that he's going to be throwing against me, and I want to go out there and compete and show this district and show the state and all these people that, I'm a pretty good pitcher too. And he definitely showed that Tuesday night.
Absolutely. And Dustin, we talk about you got the win. We were there broadcasting with Pulaski Citizen Live on Monday night. And a couple of quick questions. I guess number one, we were shocked with our broadcast that we didn't see Burleson in the pitching spot on Monday night. I guess when did you guys find out that he was not going to go on Monday?
Found out game time, pretty much. So some of the guys had been saying, that he wasn't going to throw, that they had talked and said that he wasn't going to throw Monday night, but you never know for sure, could be playing mind games, things like that. But I guess they just felt more comfortable, throwing him at home. He's just throwing at home. I mean, that's usually a baseball decision there. A lot of guys feel more comfortable throwing at home than away. And it was the right call. They got the split and, keep themselves alive, in the district hunt. I mean, that guy, when he goes out there and throws like he did against us Tuesday night, he can go out there and beat anybody in the state. All I need is one run.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen dominant pitchers come out of Lawrence County over the years, both on the south and north ends with Loretto and Summertown. And, Coach, we've got you here, and you and I obviously have joked about it a little bit, but now you've got your whole team back together after Giles County made that great run to the Final Four in boys basketball. And we've kind of seen a lot of those kids already produce. I guess I'm curious, how would you assess kids like Jake Carden, Jack Harper, Kamari Turner, and a few others that just came right in and jumped right in for you guys in the lineup?
Hey, we just threw them in the fire. I mean, the first day out was they got put out on Saturday or Saturday. They come in Sunday. We took some BP, all that stuff, and then Monday night we went out there and we played West Limestone, a really good West Limestone team. Threw them in the fire. Put Jake at leadoff, Jack in the 4-hole. Kamari had to play right field and shortstop. Hit at the bottom of the order. Clay Mitchell went out there and started playing second base. And some of those guys, they come down and was able to throw. go and hit during basketball season. But I mean, they didn't get to really, have the whole grind of the full, month and a half or so, or month that we get preseason wise. So they've only got 10 games under their belt, so far. And, they're really producing, Jake's hitting over 400. So is Jack. They're producing at the plate. Clay's playing a solid second base, and those guys are also gonna, they're gonna help us on the mound. KT's helping us on the mound. His on base percentage right now is 350 or so, somewhere in that ballpark. He's still in badge, he's making things happen on the bases, and he's playing a solid, left and right field. He's also playing some shortstop when Riley Carden's coming in and being our relief guy on Monday nights. And he's also going to throw. Jack Harper will get to start tonight when we go play Forest. Without those guys, I mean, we're not where we need to be right now. Still knocking some rust off. It's still early, but I have a ton of confidence in those guys.
Yeah, they've jumped right in and contributed in a variety of capacities. And Coach, we'll talk about Loretto coming up in a little bit. We'll obviously preview the next couple games that you guys have. But a lot is made about Grayson Burleson at Summertown, and obviously Loretto, just tremendous pitching year in, year out. You could just name your player, I guess, over the years with that program. But Jake Carden is a senior for Giles County. This is a kid that had a really sensational sophomore year, had that Tommy John surgery, didn't pitch until the very, very end of last year. And I guess for those that have not seen this young man on the mound, we got to look at him on Monday, and it seems like he's right back to his old groove. I guess, what is the ceiling for a kid like Jake Carden, who's a dominant left-handed pitcher at times?
Kind of broke up there at the end, Wade. What was the question about? I heard Jake and Tommy John.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so he has the surgery, and I guess people that haven't seen him from his sophomore year, now they didn't get to see him at all really pitching his junior year. Right. What is the ceiling, and what can we expect out of a kid who just seems to deliver night in, night out?
Hey, we've kind of babied him, along these past 3 or 4 weeks. He's only thrown 15 innings. His first outing, he only threw two innings, 2 or 3 innings. His second start, he threw 3 innings. And then he's went to 4 and 5. He hasn't thrown over 75, 77 pitches this year so far. So we haven't really stretched him out. We're being precautious with it. But, he's pretty much full go. He's 100%, but we don't want to rush him. He's got bigger and better opportunities after he leaves here. A lot of people are looking at him right now. He's Monday night he really showed that he can pitch. He was up to 86 Monday night, and he was definitely consistent in the zone. His strike rate right now is 74%. The kid throws strikes, and he's gonna make you swing. He's not gonna walk you. He's gonna make you be aggressive at the plate. He's one of the best pitchers that's come through here. And that's in the lights with Ben Peoples and those kids that he got drafted a couple years ago. Blade Matthews, Tucker Duke, all those guys. We've had a really good pitching staff, the past 6 or 7 years. And he's one of the top. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he's one of the greatest kids I've ever been around too. He's smart. He knows the game. He knows how to pitch. I'm not afraid to say, hey, Jake, you got this batter. I'm not calling pitches. And I have that much trust in him. He's definitely, one of our better guys. He gives us a chance night in and night out. He's 11-0 in his starts. COVID year, he didn't get to pitch his freshman year. Sophomore year, he goes 9-0, sub-1 ERA. Last year, doesn't get to throw because of Tommy John. And then this year, he's already 2-0 with a couple no decisions because he just didn't get to throw as many innings as, to get the win. Already sub-1 ERA again this year. The kid's a great pitcher.
Dustin Hill, Giles County baseball coach on the Real Property Solutions hotline. Give him a call, 615-527-8750. If you're looking to sell your house to buy it as is, you can take what you want, leave what you don't, and they can close in either 7 days, 70 days. It's on your timeline. However, it is necessary. And he's joining us on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. Coach, we talked about it, or mentioned it earlier. You got Loretto coming up next week, but it's not like you guys are hurting for tough competition. Obviously that to those 2 district games against Summertown, but Forest is a heck of a team. And then Covenant Christian, who out of Alabama, pretty darn good as well. And then, just on top of everything else, let's throw Spring Hill in too. And then Collinwood again. Why is it so important for you to schedule tough games, or is it just the fact that baseball is really good in this area and you kind of can't help it?
Yeah, you kind of broke up there at the end, Chris, but I think you was asking, how hard our schedule is. It's definitely these next 2 weeks is murder's row. I mean, there ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The baseball is great in Southern Middle Tennessee. I mean, our district is one of the best in the state in 2A. I think you can ask anybody around the state, all the coaches, and they'll say that as well. The pitching staffs are really good around here, in our whole district. Ones and twos. You're not going to get an off night. We need to continue to see good pitching. I mean, where we need to be, because obviously our goal is to be in Murfreesboro at the end of the year. And so, we can't just play really hard games on Monday, Tuesday. We need to play them on Thursdays and Fridays as well to continue to see the good pitching, to be able to hit the baseball, not have an off night. Our record may not be the best at the end of the year, playing these tough schedules, on Thursdays and Fridays, but we're not worried about our overall record. We're worried about us getting better as a team, and we continue to win games, like we have been. We've won 9 of the past 10, I think it is, something like that. So, I mean, we're playing pretty good baseball. We can play better baseball. I think, we've established that as a program the past 6 or 7 years that we're a pretty good baseball program, with the likes of Loretta and Summertown and, Spring Hill. We want to go and compete with those guys. We enjoy playing them. We enjoy the competition. So we just got to go out there and compete. And, hopefully at the end of the 7 innings, we come out with a W.
Well, and playing against tougher competition on those off days in from district play, it has to show you a little bit about how deep your pitching staff is and who are some guys you can count on if you get to Murfreesboro, because it really is tough on pitchers, especially at this level. It's with schools of this size. You've got to know who your 3 and 4 guys are, and this gives you an opportunity to see them against really good competition that you may see at the end of the year.
You're breaking up. I'm sorry. I'm having a little difficulty with our internet here at school.
Yeah, I understand. My question is, it's important to see your 3 and 4 guys on the bump against good competition, because that's who you're going to have to throw in Murfreesboro if you get there at some point.
One more time. I'm sorry. Our school Wi-Fi is not the best sometimes.
You're doing the same thing here. You kind of look like you're doing Mr. Roboto a little bit, but no, your 3 and 4 guys. Fine. Wait for it.
Our 3 and 4. Right now our 3 and 4. Jake's probably our 1 and Carter's our 2. Jack is going to throw tonight. He's probably our 3 guy, and then Riley Carden's our 4, but he's also one of our main relief guys. He got to save him on Monday night. He'll probably be in relief again tonight. And both those guys still can start. Our relief guys. And then a couple of weeks ago we played Forest when the basketball guys had just gotten back, and we threw Mattis Good out there, who's a sophomore, who it was his second varsity start ever. He had his first varsity start in Gulf Shores when those guys were in the basketball state tournament, and he went out there and held those guys to 2 or 3 runs, I believe it was. And we have them tied 3-3 in the 7th, and we ended up walking them. We were down 3-2 and ended up walking them off. In the bottom of the 7th. He did a tremendous job that night of holding those guys down. Our defensive played great. Our pitching staff is pretty deep, especially with those 4 top arms that we have. And you throw a Maddox Good in there, who's throwing strikes really well. He's a sophomore. You got Hunter Wilson, who's a freshman. He's going to see some action. He's probably going to throw some tomorrow in our doubleheader. Killian Hansen, several young guys are going to get an opportunity to throw tomorrow in our doubleheader. When you throw KT in there as well, who's a pretty good relief guy. We got some depth on the mound as long as they continue to throw strikes like they have been. We've really cut down on our walks this year. We're not walking a ton of guys, which is what you want to see. Walks lead to runs, and defensively, I think our pitchers know we have a really good defense behind them. So let's pitch to contact. We don't have to strike everybody out. Let's pitch to contact and let our defense work, and then go try to win the ball game at the plate.
Once again, Dustin Hill, Giles County baseball coach here on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe. Coach, looking forward to the rest of this year. I know Wade's going to have some games on the on Pulaski Citizen Live, and we'll be listening and rooting for you guys. Obviously, big one on Monday and Tuesday at home against Loretto on Monday at 6:30 at Sam Davis Park, and then you'll go to Loretto on Tuesday. Good luck. It's going to be a good one.
Thank you,
We
Dustin.
appreciate-
Sorry, one more time. I heard Loretta Monday and Tuesday.
Yep, that's it. And we just want to tell you good luck, and we appreciate you taking some time with us.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all having me. Thank y'all. Sorry about the internet connection, guys.
You're good. You're good. That's
Thank you, Dustin. We're gonna
Dustin
work
Hill.
on that. You know, that's on the Giles County Board of Education's agenda. I think it just might be a little lower on the agenda, is addressing the Wi-Fi so we can get the hotline a little quality better, right?
I can tell you, man. It's not just there; it's everywhere. It's high schools across the state. So looking, yeah. Starlink is available now. If you're out there and you need some internet, Starlink's available. No, but yeah, always fun to talk to Dustin. He's a great guy, great coach, and they got a great ball team down there. And again, Pulaski Citizen Live, you can hear most of their games with Wade. So we need to hand out some hardware. Wade, you're not familiar with this, but
Okay, I like this.
we like to hand out a little hardware for our Southern Middle Tennessee teams. The End to Win Life Team of the Week is brought to you by Custom Stone Handlers, 931-490-4990, customstonehandlers.com. They proudly encourage young people to get in the game. And this week, we give the End to Win Life Team of the Week to Spring Hill Baseball. Coach Paul Lamb. They were 2-0 last week, I believe. They defeated Lawrence County twice, 8-1 and 10-0. Had those. No, I'm sorry. That was this week. Last week was Marshall County 3-1, 5-1. They also beat Moore County 3-2 on Wednesday. One of the few people that got to play on Wednesday last week. I guess it didn't rain in Moore County as much as it rained here. So Spring Hill Baseball is our End to Win Life Team of the Week. And our Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Athlete of the Week, Anna Brewer, the Columbia Academy sophomore pitcher, struck out 8 in 10 in the third innings and hit .429 with a home run and drove in 4, helping the Lady Bulldogs to 5 wins in 6 games last week. So there you have it. The End to Win Life Team of the Week and the Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Athlete of the Week. Congratulations to that team and those players. We have more coming your way in just a moment. Talking college football should be fun. Is the Big 12 looking to take over more than just the 4 corner schools? Well, some seem to think so. What teams are they? We'll tell you right after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio right after this.
Attention Tennessee homeowners, we want to buy your house. Hi, we are Real Property Solutions, a local real estate investing group. We pay cash for all types of property, so you walk away with more money in your pocket because we eliminate any fees, closing costs, and commissions. Now the best part, we can buy your house as is, meaning you don't have to do a thing to your property. You get to take what you want, leave what you don't, and don't even worry about cleaning. We close on your timeline, whether that's 7 days or 70 days. Interested in selling? Just give us a call and we'll come out to your property and quote you a cash offer within 24 hours. Please call 615-527-8750. That's 615-527-8750.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car. you kill someone.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
Walmart Supply Chain is hiring in Lebanon. Earn up to $22.25 an hour when you join our new fulfillment center. Enjoy competitive pay and premium perks, including 100% paid college tuition, 401k match, flexible schedules, a free Walmart Plus membership that includes discounts, and free Paramount Plus, paid time off, and so much more. Fulfilling work starts right here. Text JOIN to 240-240. That's JOIN 240-240 to apply now.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets. And we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Wade Neely with you in the Lee Company studio. Glad to have you with us as we are getting ready for a little NBA talk here in just a few moments at 3 o'clock with Michael Wallace, who will join us from Grind City Media. You've also may have seen him on the Grizzlies pregame show on Bally Sports. So looking forward to talking to him about the upcoming playoff series against the Lakers. Should be fun. But right now we're going to talk a little college football because earlier today, Wade, it was there was a tweet that went out from Greg Swaim of the Swaim Show, obviously 35-year veteran of television and radio. I don't know what his sources are. I just don't. I don't know if he has any idea what he's talking about or if he's 100% accurate. But he has a tweet that says, word of 2 schools about to get into the Big 12 have been going strong this morning. He says, I have no idea if it's 2 current Pac-12 schools or San Diego State and another non-Pac-12 school in the West. He's heard both, but the consistent story is just 2 for now. But that would be in addition to the 4 corner schools, apparently.
Wow.
So, that being said, someone else said they had sources saying that Colorado could vote as early as Monday on leaving the Pac-12 for the Big 12, and the Colorado AD quote tweeted and said it's just not true. Now, I'm not going to be the next head coach at the University of Alabama, so there's that. I mean, the 2 schools that I'm seeing are Oregon State and Washington State. And I find those 2 schools particularly interesting because they don't necessarily scream, eyeballs but it would, but taking them away would almost cripple the Pac-12. So I don't know if that's what their goal is, but this is crazy. If you get 6 teams from the Pac-12 to join the Big 12, I guess that'd be 16 teams in the Big 12 at that point? It'd be more than that, wouldn't it? It'd be more than that.
Be more. And I kind of like your thought process there. You know, maybe we can't pluck some of the bigger schools until maybe we siphon some of the smaller schools and kind of cripple, take the Pac-12's knees out, so to speak, and then have them topple over. And then you could grab those other schools on the way down. Very interesting. Nothing about it certainly screams eyeballs, like you mentioned. Those 2 schools in particular. I could obviously see some benefit potentially for them, especially if you are negotiating a nice hefty deal, especially with all the troubles with the Pac-12 network, like we discussed on this show earlier this week. So kind of get the feeling that the dust is not ready to settle just yet. And it feels like a lot of moves are still about to be happening here.
He's saying that it's not this would not be the 4 corner schools. This would be Colorado, Arizona, Washington State, and Oregon State. So no Arizona State and no Utah. And to me, that makes some sense, but Utah they're not like a Pac-12 academic school where they just need to be, high academics. It doesn't, culturally, they don't necessarily fit with the Pac-12 better than the Big 12. But I guess logistically they could. I don't know. To me, conference realignment just makes no sense at this point. It's kind of every man for himself, and who cares what your academics look like versus your athletics or whatever.
Yeah, does it not feel like we're just venturing further and further into kind of a silly season, so to speak, where no conferences are going to make sense geographically or academically or athletically? It's just kind of going to be who can get together, pool the biggest offers, and kind of let the chips fall where they may. It seems like I love what you just said. It seems like it's just every team, every conference for itself at this point, just anarchy.
It is kind of anarchy because, a lot of folks are talking about the ACC is pretty well solidified. They're locked in because they have that rights, the granted rights broadcast. But I did not know this. There is a provision that if 8 teams from the ACC simultaneously leave the ACC, then that becomes null and void. And some East Coast reporters are saying that as many as 6 are already talking through third parties with the SEC and or Big 10. So how quick or how likely or how quick are we going to end up with 4 major conferences?
I mean, that certainly feels like that's where we're headed, and it feels like we're headed there a lot sooner than maybe a lot of folks would have anticipated.
And who's the 4th major?
And that is what I was racking my brain about when we were rattling off some of these schools from the Pac-12 a moment ago. And yeah, who holds that final joker in the deck, so to speak, if you will?
I don't know that, because if you take 8 of the 12 Pac-12 ACC schools, you're talking about all the good ones. Who's left? I think you could even see Duke and North Carolina dip out and go to the Big East in basketball.
That would be wild.
Would it not? And instead of, and maybe either play football independent or join, there may be an independent league with Notre Dame and Duke and North Carolina and some of these other schools. This is absolutely insanity. And I don't know what it looks like in the world of what the college football world looks like if the SEC has 20 teams and the Big 10 has 20 teams and the Big 12 has 18 or 20 teams. How do you even determine a champion at that point?
Yeah, I was going to say it's almost other than just a few logistical issues. What's even the point of being in a conference or having a conference except for rights deals and, making the schedules out right at that point?
It doesn't make any sense. I don't think you can do it. And is that what stops conference expansion? Is the scheduling logistics?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking, 20 SEC teams just with the football scheduling.
You'd almost have to
alone.
go to 2 different conferences.
Yeah, an SEC spin-off conference almost within the conference.
Like an East and West, and then you just play the other 9 teams in the East, and the West play the other 9 teams in the West, and then at the end you meet for a championship. This is anarchy, absolute insanity.
Well, I'll tell you what, you brought this topic up, and my head was still spinning from talking to Chip the other day about all the teams just in Conference USA coming and going. And we had that conversation on a part of our broadcast on Pulaski Citizen Live the other night. That alone was hard enough for me to keep up with. But now you factor in a lot of these big name schools like we're seeing here, potential Arizona, San Diego State, Colorado. I do love the irony, obviously, of Colorado potentially going back to the Big 12.
And right? SMU.
SMU.
Could you imagine that? Imagine SMU and Colorado back in the Big 12/Big 8, whatever you want to call it. That would be something.
That'll get you in your feels right there. All of a sudden, the vintage merch market would just skyrocket again, right?
It's kind of like USFL stuff,
Grandpa's got his Colorado Big 12 sweatshirt, and he's saying, "Man, all of a sudden, this thing's back in style again."
I mean, and San Diego State, has just been we've kind of talked about them just being a shoe-in to fill a spot in the Pac-12 if necessary. And you're telling me that they may go to the Big 12? The Big 12 would certainly benefit from the San Diego market, I think.
No doubt.
And the Pac-12 feels like it's not a big enough market. It's almost like the Pac-12 is looking down at San Diego State while the Big 12 would welcome them with open arms. Because otherwise, why have you not already offered them? And maybe they have. I don't know.
$32 million, a lot better than $9 million. Yeah, man. And this thing just. And how many times, we saw with the Big Ten, was it last year? We've known obviously about Texas and Oklahoma for a couple of years now, but you kind of think, okay, when is the carousel finally going to stop spinning, or when's the musical chairs? When's the music finally going to stop? And it felt like we had reached a little natural kind of stopping point, and then round and round, here we get ready to go again, it seems like.
It never stops in college football, does it?
Nope. And that's what's driving it all, obviously. That and your men and women's basketball for the most part, it seems like.
There you go. Men, and basketball kind of gets left out of this for the most part. This is a football-driven thing. I mean, basketball.
Yep.
And here's the thing. You remember that UCLA and USC have to play women's volleyball against Rutgers. Remember that.
On like a Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things that don't make sense about this. Financially, logistically, none of it. So I guess you got to be careful. Be careful what you wish for, folks. Man, we have not had a chance to get to the SEC quarterback rankings, but we will at some point, either today, maybe tomorrow, but we'll get to them for sure. But now we're going to take a break because Michael Wallace, Grind City Media, Grizzle Valley host, is joining the show in just a moment. So stick around. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio on Main Street Sports Today in just a moment. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Attention Tennessee homeowners, we want to buy your house. Hi, we are Real Property Solutions, a local real estate investing group. We pay cash for all types of property, so you walk away with more money in your pocket because we eliminate any fees, closing costs, and commissions. Now the best part, we can buy your house as is, meaning you don't have to do a thing to your property. You get to take what you want, leave what you don't, and don't even worry about cleaning. We close on your timeline, whether that's 7 days or 70 days. Interested in selling? Just give us a call and we'll come out to your property and quote you a cash offer within 24 hours. Please call 615-527-8750. That's 615-527-8750.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Wade Neely with you here on this Thursday edition as we are getting ready for a big weekend in Tennessee. Not only will the Memphis Grizzlies be taking on the Los Angeles Lakers on Sunday, but if you're traveling east to west and you happen to be near Fayetteville on Saturday, the Slawburger Festival is taking place, so watch out. It will be a happening joint in Fayetteville and Lincoln County when the Slawburger Festival goes down.
My money is on Fayetteville boys basketball coach, my good friend Chris Murdoch. In case there's any sort of eating contest, I'd put my money on him, partner.
Man, I am a big fan of Slawburgers, by the way. Just saying. Throw that out there. Big fan. Especially the ones in Fayetteville. They're all really good. But now we take our second trip to the Real Property Solutions hotline as we welcome in Grizz on Valley co-host Michael Wallace. Talk a little hoops. Michael, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? Listen, first and foremost, thanks for having me. And make sure you guys tell my brother Mo Patton, give him my regards, and I'll catch him on the next one. But
you know where he's at, though, right?
No. Where is he?
Right now he's
Oh.
in Punta Cana.
Oh, Dominican Republic.
He's somewhere in the middle of the Caribbean
All
right
right,
now.
good.
Mr.
man.
Worldwide, we call him now.
Hey, now here's the thing though. They do have Wi-Fi and internet
Oh.
access in Punta Cana. Right?
San Juan. He's in San Juan. I'm sorry. He's in
Oh,
Puerto Rico.
San Juan, Puerto Rico. Okay. I've been there. Well, good for him, man. I'm glad he's getting some R&R. But you guys got to tell me first and foremost. My question: slaw burger. What is a slaw burger?
It's a burger with like a vinegar slaw on it instead of lettuce and tomato and all that. So it's pretty good. It's pretty, and you would know putting vinegar slaw on a sandwich is not unheard of in Memphis, right?
No. So that's the barbecue pulled pork. I got you, but it's just with a burger.
Exactly.
Of pulled pork. Okay. Hey, that sounds fantastic. All right, cool.
I just like to make fun of Fayetteville. I'm gonna be honest with you. But looking forward to this weekend, man. And obviously, folks who didn't get a chance to catch LeBron in the regular season because he was out, get a chance to see the King as he comes to town this Sunday. But can't be the King in Memphis, can he? Because his name's not Elvis. So I don't know. What do we call him when he comes to town? Loser?
Well, hey, you hopefully call him 0-1. You know what I mean? After Sunday, right? That the Lakers are down 0-1. But LeBron James, man, you have a chance, particularly this season where he surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to become the all-time leading scorer of the NBA. To get that kind of legend in your building for round one of the playoffs, you couldn't ask for a better atmosphere in Memphis. And as we do this, you're probably going to hear some hammers banging and some saws buzzing because there's a lot of energy in our building right now. My office is at FedEx Forum, so I've been able to walk around and see the guys practicing and see all of the things that are going up around this building. So Nashville is only a 3-hour drive, man, and I know a lot of our football fans here drive that way to get to the Titans games and the Predators games, and hopefully we get a lot of our Nashville fans coming that way. Coming back this way, because if they can get in the building, it's going to be a raucous environment, and a lot of people can't wait. But yeah, we'll call them 0-1 because I hope the Grizzlies can get that first victory on Sunday in Game 1.
Perhaps there will be one from Middle Tennessee making his way. Maybe Wade.
Yeah, hoping to get down for at least one game this series. Grindhouse postseason veteran, and I guess Michael, my question for you is, I'm definitely of that old school grit and grind era where we had those great playoff runs. And my immediate question with LA coming to town, a lot's going to be made about the post play in this series, it seems like. And we saw them struggle a little bit last year in the first round in the post versus Minnesota. How is Memphis going to try and tackle what should be a quality post presence when you talk about a guy like Anthony Davis this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, you have to, number one, keep them off the free throw line. And, the Lakers lead the NBA in free throw attempts, and it's not even close. So, they're shooting almost 27 free throws a game, and they particularly do their damage in the fourth quarter where they're making almost 9 a game or shooting almost 9 a game in the fourth quarter. So Anthony Davis is in the middle of all of that. LeBron James in that front line is in the middle of all of that. Their ability to get second chance points because he's big and can get offensive rebounds. How do you combat that, particularly when you don't have Steven Adams available? And really Brandon Clark is another backline guy. Two bigs you don't have. But the Grizzlies have been without Steven Adams and Brandon Clark for the better part of a month now, and 2 months without Steven. So they've had to get used to playing a certain way. And they were 12-5 in March playing a certain way. Without those two guys, and Taylor Jenkins was coach of the month in March because of the adjustments that they had to make. So, you got to really limit Anthony Davis. If he's going to beat you 1-on-2 or 1-on-1, just don't let him get offensive rebounds, and don't foul and give him and ones where you're complicating the matters. Limit them to one offensive possession, one shot per possession. And if he misses it, then you go the other way, beat him down court and try to get some transition points to, break up that slugfest that the Lakers want to get you in.
Absolutely. And, we saw it the other night in the play-in game. They shoot a bazillion free throws, and Timberwolves shoot the 3. How about the 3 free throws from former Grizzlies legend Mike Conley? That first one was real sketch, but he made the next 2 to look pretty nice. And I guess I was a little conflicted. I'm curious were you rooting maybe for Conley to get a chance to kind of come back for that emotional, coming home in the postseason, or were you really maybe hoping that LeBron and the Lakers were coming to town?
Honestly, I was conflicted. Like my emotions went from one end to the other as I watched that game unfold. Early on, for the first 3.5 quarters, I was going for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then towards the end, I said, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead. And now that I see how wounded and how limited the Lakers can be, now I want to see the Lakers come in here and I know they'll catch the Grizzlies' full undivided attention from game one. So Mike Conley is clutch. And I was proud of him for making those threes, those 3 free throws, man. That was big time. And, he did his thing. And then, but beyond that, before I had, 5 years of being around Mike Conley, when I got to Memphis, the previous 10 years I spent around LeBron James, covering him in Miami and in different places, but more intimately in Miami, when I was with ESPN. So, I both of those guys have a soft spot, with me, and I want to see both of them do well. And I don't want to see LeBron do too well, though, where he's putting the Grizzlies out. But at the end of the day, I know a legend and an all-time great when I see it. And I'm so happy for him and his family for what he's accomplished.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans in this region that are maybe new to Grizzlies basketball, they'd be okay with LeBron, getting his, as long as the Grizz get the win in the games and the series, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, you might as well. You want to see a great show. And part of the reasons why you welcome the Lakers coming in is because you're going to be a relevant series. Game one is ABC exclusive. So not even our fantastic Bally Sports broadcast team of Pete and Pete Pranica, Brevin Knight, Rob Fisher, those guys won't be on the call for the beginning of this series because ABC wants it in an exclusive window. So that tells you how the NBA nation is going to be glued in on Memphis, particularly at home, where the Grizzlies, oh, by the way, posted the best home record in the NBA and the best home record in franchise history. So when you add all of these elements to it, man, it's something that's going to be special no matter what.
Speaking with Michael Wallace of the Grizz on Bally and Grind City Media, follow him on Twitter at MyMikeCheck. On the Real Property Solutions hotline again, 615-527-8750 is the number to call. They can close on your timeline. 7 days or 70, they don't care. And they'll buy your house as is. Take what you want, leave what you don't. Real Property Solutions. Mike, it seems like the Lakers will obviously have an advantage down low in this series, but it's to me, it's a pretty heavy advantage in guard play to the Grizzlies. How does Taylor Jenkins capitalize on having the advantage in the backcourt in this series?
You got to create transition offense. You got to get fast break points. The Grizzlies led the NBA at 18 fast break points a game. That was a franchise record. You got to get Ja Morant going downhill and getting into the paint. You don't necessarily want to have to do that in a half-court setting, but if you can force turnovers and create transition opportunities, then you're scoring in the paint that way too. Both of these teams are dominant paint scoring teams. They just do it in different ways. The Lakers like to do it in a half-court, control the pace, physical setting. The Grizzlies like to do it in an up-tempo, forcing transition, high screen and rolls for Ja Morant to get downhill, for Desmond Bane to get downhill and get to the rim, and they score that way. So it's a matter of Taylor Jenkins getting the Grizzlies to do what they do, creating pace, creating up-tempo basketball. But you got to do that by getting stops. You're going to see the Lakers, try to slow down the tempo as much as possible, and you're going to see the Grizzlies do everything they can to loosen up that tempo, whether that means running on misses and running on makes. So when the Lakers make a shot, expect the Grizzlies to get the ball right out in transition as much as possible to even try to beat them downfield, down court, and create 5-on-4 and 5-on-3, easy offense, early offense type opportunities. And that's how you do it when you have Ja Morant and utilizing that advantage in the backcourt. Because I agree with you. The Grizzlies, I think, clearly have a backcourt advantage. And I think the Lakers clearly have a front court advantage.
Got to keep Austin Reeves without the ball. Obviously, at 17 points this year per game against the Grizzlies, much higher than his 13 points per game average. So obviously you want to limit him as much as possible. But this is just one of those this is one of those series where you can really solidify yourself as a perennial contender if you're Memphis. I mean, obviously last year a great first round against Minnesota, but got to find a way to get to that next level. And what better way than taking down, obviously, the Los Angeles Lakers?
I totally agree. And, a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot, but some people I've heard from some segments of the fan base that wanted to take the easier route. And I'm not disrespecting Minnesota because I was at that series last year. Minnesota gave the Grizzlies everything they could handle for the better part for 6 games. And it took them collapsing in a couple of them for the Grizzlies to take control of that series. But I wanted the Lakers because, again, I know the Grizzlies are going to be on their P's and Q's from game one, from minute one of game one. And when you look at how the bracket sets up, for you to get to the Western Conference Finals, you theoretically are going to have to beat the Lakers and LeBron James, 2 Hall of Famers with LeBron and Anthony Davis. And then you're going to have to go, and if Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors do what they're expected to do, they're the lower seed, but they are the favorite in that series against Sacramento. You go and you're trying to exercise that demon too. So if you can get by the Lakers and then the 4-time champion Golden State Warriors, a team that gave you problems last year, the last couple of years, just to get to the Western Conference Finals, I think it becomes anticlimactic at that point. So if you can, how mentally strong you have to be to endure these first 2 rounds. And thankfully, the Grizzlies have home court advantage theoretically in both of those series so far. So, again, the path to the Western Conference Finals has to go through Memphis. They have an advantage with home games, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But I definitely see exactly what you're saying in terms of taking that next step and continuing that trajectory that you've been on as the Memphis Grizzlies over the last 3 or 4 years.
You'll be interested to hear this, Wade. University of Tennessee defensive lineman Bryson Eason, who obviously is from the city of Memphis, former Mr. Football finalist, Whitehaven product, says Lakers in 6. So turning his back on the hometown is Bryson Eason. So I'm just saying, you've even got some guys in your hometown don't believe. Maybe that's the bulletin board and the material they needed, Wade.
Well, yeah, and I guess that's a question that I wanted to ask Michael too. Is how many times over the years have we seen, no matter which team he's on, LeBron comes in, or Kobe, rest in peace, back in the day, and we see Lakers jerseys just littered in the crowd at the FedEx Forum. But they have done a fantastic job of locking that place down at the Grindhouse the last decade in terms of postseason. For me personally, it will be kind of fun and exciting to not really see as much of a Laker fan base, or at least that's what I'm presuming as this series plays out at home, right?
I mean, you're gonna definitely have Lakers.
A few.
Yeah, that's gonna be the case, man. And even some diehard Grizzlies fans are Grizzlies fans because the team is here, but their national team is the Lakers, right? So I don't expect to see any shortage of purple and gold in the building. But I also expect to see the Grizzlies show up, man, because Grizzlies fans have been waiting for this series for a very, very long time. And think about it. A lot of people who may have bought season tickets and tried to sell them, they make their biggest money off of Golden State and the Los Angeles Lakers games.
Yep.
And now you have a chance to, you've already got your money back from selling those tickets. Now you get a chance to go and keep your tickets going into the playoffs and seeing those same 2 teams possibly. So I think it's going to be an overwhelming Grizzlies crowd. But I also think you got to be careful too, because I think the narrative and the national scope is going to be all about what the Lakers do. So it's going to be, if Memphis wins game 1, the national storyline is going to be the Lakers lose game 1, right? How do the Lakers adjust and all of these kind of things. So I think that's why the Grizzlies and their fan base have to understand that they're going to be second fiddle when it comes to the storylines. But how do you change that? You just keep winning games. At a certain point, you become the story because of what you've done to the Lakers, as opposed to the Lakers dominating the headlines. You don't want them dominating the games. Let them dominate the headlines.
That's the key. It doesn't matter if everybody's writing about the Lakers, they're just overlooking you. And if you win, it doesn't matter because they have to stop talking about the team that's not playing anymore.
They do. They do, man. They got to stop talking. Eventually, again, you did your talking. The Grizzlies have done their talking. We know that they talk a lot of trash and they got a lot of headlines for that. But I think now you wanted the smoke. The smoke is here. And now you just take care of business on the court. Don't make this about technical fouls and trying to, be chesty. Make shots, defend, get rebounds, limit turnovers. Do what you got to do to win this game, to win this series. And you do that by winning the games that you need to win, including game 1.
That's right. 35-6 on the year are the Grizzlies' best home record in the association. Of course, 16-25 on the road. It doesn't look great, but it's to be expected. It is what it is. You got to win the games at home. And if they do that, they win all their games at home, they're going to win the series. That's just how home court advantage works. And that's why you got to have it. And looking forward to it again. Is it 3 o'clock Central or 2 o'clock Central?
2 o'clock Central.
2 o'clock Central. ABC. You can watch it there, but always, anytime you get a chance to check out the Bally Sports broadcast, Michael and his fine folks, and of course, Wade's good friend on the call during those games as well. So,
yeah, Michael, I was going to say, next time you run into Pete and my good buddy, Mr. John Roser, please tell him I said hello. Just walk down the hall and smack Roser a time or two for me. He's got to get in his playoff mode, right?
Hey, I smack Roser every day, so it won't hurt at all to add a couple more smacks. He's right over there down the hall. And then Pete and Brevin and Fish just recorded our, sort of our playoff preview. We got a playoff preview that's going to be on Grind City Media tomorrow, Friday. So check out grindcitymedia.com. You'll see the playoff preview where those guys are giving all of their insight going into game 1. And, hey, ABC has the broadcast, but you can't go wrong with Pete, Brevin, and Fish doing their thing, and we certainly looking forward to them in game 2.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're some of the best in the biz. Thank you, Michael.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll smack Mo for Michael, too, when he gets back for being
Mo hadn't rubbed it in, and he hadn't rubbed it in on social media in the last few hours. So we're due for Mo to chime in with a nice photo here any second now, I feel like, right?
It's been 5 hours since his last photo of the beach, so... Let's take a short 1-minute break right here. When we come back, we'll talk a little baseball on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Stick around.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, 3-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best-looking girl, Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back to the Lee Company studio. Welcome back. Had a great show, man. Thanks so much to Dustin Hill at Giles County and to, of course, Michael Wallace, who joined us just moments ago. Make sure to go follow those folks on Twitter, and especially Mike at MyMikeCheck, because if you're interested at all in Grizzly stuff, he's got plenty of it. Talk a little baseball now. And we'll go into this day in Braves history as we go all the way back to 1953, where on opening day, the now Milwaukee Braves get a 3-hit pitching from Max Serkant, and the former Boston Braves win their first game as the Milwaukee Braves, beating the Reds 2-0 at Crosley Field, back when Cincinnati was the every year opening day. Hey, I miss those days. Cincinnati should always be the first game played. But
yeah, what happened with that?
It's a great question. I don't know. I don't love it though. I wish the Reds were always the first, but it is what it is.
Represent Milwaukee. Yeah, 2-0. And speaking of 2-0, I only got to catch a little bit of the Bravos last night, and it was not a great start. They were down 2-0 at one point, and was pleased to see them come back and get the win, though.
Went down 2-0 in the first inning. Spencer Strider kind of struggling right now. He's essentially he's lowered his velo to try to go later into games to kind of pace himself. But when you only have 2 pitches, you kind of got to be unhittable with those 2 pitches. So, Rick Kranitz went out there, and Strider told media after the game that Rick basically berated him with words we can't say on the air, and he got right. So figured it out, got going, and the Braves get the win after a pretty solid night from Ronald Acuna and a lot of folks. But the biggest part of the night that I remember is bases loaded, nobody out. Marcell Ozuna comes up, strikes out, and the Boo Birds were loud and proud in Atlanta.
What's up with that?
Well, he's only the 202nd best hitter in Major League Baseball out of 202 qualified hitters.
Well, okay. That warrants a few boos here and there, I suppose.
The next worst hitter in the major leagues is 17 points better than him. Can you play the audio?
Swing and a miss, and Ozuna's done, but Braves take the lead.
Ooh.
Eddie Rosario.
Oof.
They just didn't care. They were done. So all I'm saying, I don't know. I don't have any idea what it's going to take to get Marcell Ozuna out of the Braves lineup, but I hope it's something soon. So,
I mean, that was not like a, hey, I really didn't like that. That was like, boo, please, I hope I never see you again.
And that's about how most Braves fans feel. Finally, someone asked Brian Snicker the question, what's it going to take? And he basically said, look, he had a good spring. He's not really translated it to the regular season, and yet still didn't say he wasn't going to play him. So I guess we're just going to see Marcell Ozuna continue to trot out there every 2 or 3 days and pretend like he's a Major League Baseball player still. And yet you've got guys like Eddie Rosario, who went yard last night and was actually in the bottom of the 8th was the deciding run with a solo home run. And Sam Hilliard in center field when Michael Harris II comes back. If Marcell Ozuna is still on the team, I think we got a problem. But I don't know. Who am I? What do I know? What's going on with your Stros? They
got the nice win yesterday. They're off tonight and kind of getting ready. Nice little day off, and then you and I mentioned it a couple times. I'm just all in on this Braves Astros series. I fully expect a token appearance, good or bad, the following Monday. After that next weekend series,
we'll have to have you on for that for sure.
And Mo will be, you and Mo will beat me down, or I'll be able to puff my chest out, I suppose, a little bit. But Houston's going to get the Rangers. You got the Loans. Houston finally gets a division game coming up this weekend versus Texas. Maybe a chance to get back in the swing of things at Minute Maid there over the weekend.
Well, looking forward to the Royals next week. We'll have Royals fan Heather Williams on Wednesday, so we'll either get to talk trash or we won't. We either won't bring it up or we'll talk trash. One of the two next Wednesday. But that's going to do it for today's show. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us again. Michael Wallace and Dustin Hill for joining us. We appreciate you guys as well, as always, on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m.